Hey guys, in this episode we're going to talk about the film What Men Want, starring Taraji P Henson. We're going to discuss Henson's performance, what we thought of Tracy Morgan in this film, and the predictability of the movie. This is episode 118 of the Reel-ists podcast. Hello listeners, welcome. I'm Donnie.
And I'm Oscar.
And we have our producer Ruben here as always.
Hello.
Hello, Ruben says. And thank you guys so much for joining our podcast. Ruben, Oscar pointed out that I haven't given you a little nickname in a while.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, you have.
So now I got to come up with one. So please remind me at the end of the episode, one of you guys.
Mention it, but I'm going to have one on my mind.
And I will have one ready to go. Oscar, I'll leave you in charge of reminding me of that.
Got it.
Before we sign off.
Don't forget, Donnie, you have to give him a nickname.
And it has to be one that I haven't given him, so...
I would be open to you repeating one for the sake of...
Really?
I don't know
I mean, I could do that right now, but...
I don't know what you said. Like, I mean, obviously there's some obvious.
I've called
Rubinator,
him
Roopster.
Roopster, the Rubinator, Rubencito or Rubenito, Ruby.
Rupert. Do that one?
Rupert.
I don't think I've ever said that one. Damn, did you just come up with one?
I think I
Right.
did.
He's like, you can't use that one.
No, that one's mine. That one's mine. Rupert's a good one.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we'll see if I come up with anything else. If not, I'm just going to steal that one. Thank you guys for joining us today. Quickly remind you guys that we are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Team Reel-ists, Team REELISTS, no dash. You can leave us a comment on YouTube. And we have our podcast on there as well. And the most important one that we would so appreciate if you guys could do is if you can go on iTunes and please, please, please rate us and leave us a comment on how you think our podcast is. It will give us feedback on how you guys think we're doing, what we can improve on, what you guys want to hear from us. The possibilities are endless. I know it doesn't take that much time, right, guys? To just,
It does not.
It's very quick, easy as 1, 2, 3, and it would just help us out so much. So please, if you guys are using iTunes, please rate us. We would just love you to death, to the moon and back, more than we already do. And I think that's it. So jumping into this episode, we are going to discuss the film What Men Want, starring Taraji P Henson and Tracy Morgan, I guess you could say. Oscar, why don't you kick us off with some quick thoughts of what you've thought about this movie?
So what I wanted, since it's called What Men Want, just kidding. No, I enjoyed it. It was something that I walked in knowing there was going to be the cliche plot lines. I think we were joking about it right before we went in, that we were like, oh, we're going to expect her to have this power and then she's going to give it up at the end because she realizes she doesn't need it. Like a lot of those things, spoiler alert, by the way, but
Major spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, but like those things like we expected. So it was going to be more of what fun or comedic things that they were going to do that was going to make us enjoy this more. And I think they delivered on various ways. There's some things that surprised me, some things that were kind of, let's try that again, I guess, in a way I would assume for like a retake or something, but naturally I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the development of the character. I enjoyed seeing just the funny moments between some of the coworkers. Overall, I was satisfied that, it was what I was expecting, which was kind of at that, like, I know what the story is, so hit me with those punchlines, hit me with those jokes that I'm going to enjoy.
Right. All right. So IMBD states, a woman is boxed out by the male sports agents in her profession, but gains an unexpected edge over them when she develops the ability to hear men's thoughts. What an original idea. No, just to tattle on myself here, and Oscar, I know. Ruben, you did not see What Women Want, right?
No.
Okay, so none of us saw What Women Want. However, the variances between the two films, there were some, but there were also a lot of the same things as well. Obviously just kind of gender swapped to meet this movie. I really liked it. I kind of went in with not such high expectations. Oscar, same boat as you're in. We kind of were kind of going back and forth about, oh, we know what's going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And some of the things we predicted did happen, but there were a couple things that we did not predict that did not happen. So it wasn't like the most predictable movie in the world, but there was obviously some things that you know how that it's going to play out. But I thought the film overall was very enjoyable and very entertaining to watch. I laughed a lot more than I thought I was going to laugh, and I was really invested in the characters more so than I thought I would be. Even the supporting cast I thought did a really great job. So we had quite a few supporting cast members here. Let me pull them up. We had Kristen Ledlow, Josh Brunner, who played the assistant. We had, let's see, Aldous Hodge that played Will, the love interest. And oh my gosh, there's so many names here. Okay, I'm not going to name all these names. We had her three friends in the film, which kind of want to talk about that a bit because the film kind of set it up to where it's like, okay, this woman, she's works for this, she's a sports agent and she's great at her job and she has these three best friends. So I guess one of my first, not complaints, but one of my first things about the film was I feel that the relationship between her and her supposedly three best friends wasn't really capitalized on. Because while the movie did tell us these are her three girlfriends and she was going to be in one of the women's weddings and this and that, I felt like there just wasn't a lot of development amongst all of them. Like
They really set it up where we thought we were going to get to know the friends, and they were good for what they were giving us. It was kind of like, I want to see more of that. Yeah, but they really focused on this like work, this project that she had to do, this big assigning that she had to get from an athlete. That was like the primary focus rather than her actual understanding of of hearing men's thoughts. It became more of a plot device rather than like a way to explore something different, because they could have gone the route of let's try to take advantage of knowing what men want, but it was more focused on let me get my work accomplishment done with this power. So I think if they would have gone with the friends, it would have been a lot more entertaining just to overall see like, let's take advantage of knowing what men are thinking. I
kind of was even thinking of what's that? The Amy Schumer movie that we saw like last year. I Feel Pretty. Even like that kind of set it up a little bit better with her and her friends, and really showed us early in the film in the beginning that they really were like they had a deep rooted friendship and they were bonded, and we got to kind of see what after Amy Schumer hit her head and these weird things started happening, and kind of seeing the friendship kind of crumbling throughout the length of the film. I feel like that worked and that was more believable. So I guess I was kind of hoping to see that in this film, because your friends are obviously a huge role in and not in everyone's life, but I feel like friendships, especially like, it's like them four, those four women, and it just made it seem like they're super close. I wish they could have just been on the screen a little bit more, and we could have seen some more things develop with them. Surprisingly, one character that I didn't think was going to get so much screen time was Tracy Morgan, who in the trailer, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I want to ask you guys, did you guys feel like it was a little misleading? Because I didn't think that Tracy Morgan was going to have as much dialogue and as much involvement in the script and in the story itself as he did. So he was obviously the dad that played he was the dad of the rising NBA star that Taraji P Henson was trying to sign. And he had a lot to do with the story, and I wasn't expecting that. Was that something that you think like helped with the story, or was it kind of like, this is kind of out of nowhere? Why are we getting so much Tracy Morgan screen time?
It's unfortunate because personally, this was a role that I don't think needed this much attention. And I get, his like celebrity status and all that as to like, of course, give him a role in the movie. I just don't think that role was the one he should have had an extended amount of time with. I think he would have worked better as a coworker, because he really didn't bring anything to this movie of like, let me make it difficult for you to understand what men want. It was like, he was just saying the things that were progressing the movie in the direction it wanted to go with. Like he was like, "Oh, we're not signing with you because you clearly don't have it organized or something." And then, they get it organized, and it's like, "Oh yeah, but we need family. We need a family kind of person." So that led the plot device of like faking, husband and wife. So it was like a lot of things that were just like he wasn't bringing anything valuable. He was just setting up where the movie was going, and he kind of gets like written out midway through in the sense of like they just stop going to him. And it gets more focused on like her coming to the realization that she doesn't need to read men's thoughts to put herself in a position she wants to be in, kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I honestly feel like it was a character that did not need to have that much extended time. I feel like Tracy Morgan would have probably best served as a friend who is working with her, trying to get this signing done, than what they gave us. I got the role, but that role really could have been 2 scenes the most than what they actually gave us.
Yeah, and I think that they tried to, like, his character was supposed to be, pretty limited and kind of a doofus, I think, and it's supposed to just deliver a lot of those kind of comic punchlines. And a few of them were funny, but I don't think we needed so much of them. And I just feel like I've seen this before. Like Tracy Morgan played this kind of doofy, kind of stupidish like character, and it is funny sometimes. But I feel like they were just trying to roll with it as much as they could, and I don't think it was very necessary. And I do agree with you. I feel like he would have been better served maybe playing one of the guys in the firm, like maybe a competing agent going against Taraji P Henson's character. Because I honestly, I feel like not anybody, but I feel like they could have found another funny actor to play the father, and I don't think it necessarily needed to be
right
Tracy Morgan. But
he brought in his comedic presence, like what he delivers. If you think of him, you probably know what jokes you're gonna get, and that's what you got. So it wasn't like it was a role perfect for him. It was him being himself in that role.
Yeah.
Or, his jokes being in that role.
Right. But he did do a good job, and I was happy with him in the film. I just, like I said, didn't expect to see so much of him. But he did bring a certain level of comedy. I will say I was really, really surprised by how funny Taraji P Henson was in this. This was her film, and I knew that there was going to be some funny moments, but I really feel like some of the funniest moments were with her. And I just feel like she was really able to carry this film. She had a really strong supporting cast, I feel like, but I feel like ultimately the most enjoyable moments that I got from this film were from her in general. And I feel like she had a really good I think just as an actress, she's so great and has really good range, but I feel like in this film being presumably a comedy, she had like good physical comedy. She had good jokes, and I think she's just really. I feel like she's just one of those really sharp actresses. Like she's just usually pretty on it. So I was really. I don't want to say blown away. That's maybe taking it a little too far, but I was really impressed with her. Like I really felt like she delivered a really strong performance in this.
I believed in her role. I believed that she was a sports agent trying to get the signings. I feel like she brought in enough of the presence and confidence that you would assume with that kind of role. And when she found out she can read men's thoughts, she reacted very natural as well. Like, and none of it was just like, it was the script keeping her up. She was keeping the script up for most of it. So yeah, I do like her performance in this one. I think I expect for her to deliver on the roles she has, because she's proven it. She's proven she is versatile, and she's able to be the character that it has to be for the story that they're telling. Mm-hmm. And this one, she had to be both comedic and also yet, strong in a way, because this was also trying to reflect a little bit about like women in the work field of sports. It's like they're not viewed a little bit, not too much. It doesn't go into like sensitive stuff, but it's there a little bit. But yeah, so I feel like she was still able to bring in that plot and really carried the movie, where you want to see her journey. It's not like you're at this point, you're just like, all right, I'm done with this joke of reading men's thoughts. It was just like you wanted to see what she was in, and when you found out she was trying to get this signing, you wanted to see her get the signing, and you saw all the troubles and stuff that she had to get through to get it happen. So I thought she did a really well while bringing the movie together and really keeping it entertaining for the segments that it had to go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And this movie, like, we know this movie's a comedy, and it's like, we come to laugh and to not take it so seriously. But I feel like when I was watching it, I did feel like I was getting some of those, what do you call them? I guess some like important issues, or kind of like issues that women are dealing with nowadays, especially in the workforce, in the work field, because obviously she was like one of the only women in her firm, and she, I think from what the movie was trying to tell us, is that she has been working really hard, and she is like one of the top agents in the company, but even though she is doing this, it's still not enough, because this still very much is a boys' club, like she kept saying. And I feel like even though this was a comedy, the film was kind of just reminding us of those issues that do exist and do happen. And like even her boss was saying, like in the beginning of the film, was telling her like, stay in your lane, like, you have, Lisa Leslie, you have all these female clients, stay in your lane, like all just focus on female clients, you don't have to worry about the real athletes, is kind of what it seemed like. And even there are some really good scenes in this movie. I really like even the scene when she was with Lisa Leslie and what was his name? Jamal, the first round pick in the NBA?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal. And they wanted to give him like the center of the cover. But it's like Lisa Leslie, I love that part when Lisa Leslie was like basically telling us all of her accomplishments, and she's like won this many championships and has this many rings and this and that. And she's like, and you want to give the cover to a rising star, someone who hasn't even proven himself, who hasn't like played a minute in the professional world. Like I really, even though, I mean, it was supposed to be like a quick funny moment, but I really liked that scene because, I think it just brings to light the issue of, I mean, unfortunately, let's be honest here, like the NBA and the WNBA, it's like, we know which one gets watched more. We know where all the money goes to, and which one gets more accolades and is considered to be like the real deal. So it's like it is like that, and I just like that they kind of made shed some light on it.
Yeah, it touched on it, and her starting her own firm of it was like a lot of results of her seeing how it truly was. So. Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't shy away from it, or they didn't try to downplay it, but
or like even in the scene when she unexpectedly showed up to the poker night, like they kept lying to her and telling her there wasn't a poker night, but there was. She found out because she used her new powers, and she had like a winning hand at the end, but she basically like lost. She lied, and basically what's that called? Folding your hand, or I don't know what the terminology is. When you throw away a good hand or something. She did that because she didn't want to basically bruise Tracy Morgan's ego, because she wanted, him to like feel good, and she was trying to play the game, and like do what she had to do to get his son to sign with her. So it's like, you had these kind of moments where it's like, they kind of had to conform to these like gender roles from what I got. Or like even when Tracy Morgan was like, I don't trust a woman who doesn't have a wife or who doesn't have a family. Like, and I'm like, is this guy from like 1980? Like he's really outdated with his thinking. I don't know, just things I picked up on. I don't know, maybe if I was looking too much into it, but it was apparent while I was watching it. I don't know if it was, Oscar, for you, but
it was. I mean, yeah, like it just didn't focus. Like it wasn't trying to, say that's the point of the movie. Because what the movie really wanted to get to was, let's make fun of being able to read men's thoughts, and like all those moments that you'd be like, oh, he's totally thinking of hitting on that girl, or he's totally thinking of, something that's common sports related, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They try to do one one twist where it was like, oh, you would think a coworker was trying to hit on her, but it turned out being it was the assistant that he was hitting on. So yeah, that was where the focus was. But yeah, I do agree. Yes, it was something that was touched on, but I wouldn't think that the movie was trying to say that's what you're walking away with.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. I feel like it was. I mean, they were like, yeah, these messages are important. Let's just like kind of poke at them a little bit. But this is a comedy, and we are here so we can hear what crazy, outlandish thoughts Taraji P Henson is going to hear from all these men that she works with, which is like insane. And I mean, Erykah Badu, who played the psychic, I thought she was phenomenal. I mean, she didn't have that much screen time, but I thought as that character, she was great. She was so funny. Loved the scene when she was doing the tarot card reading and she kept like throwing down the tarot cards and then she threw like a skip Uno card in there. Like I laughed so hard on that. She was great. So yeah, the real fun begins when she is able to start like actually reading these guys' thoughts, and it's like, I didn't know how I guess like what kind of thoughts we were gonna get. I don't know in the original one like what women want, like what the thoughts were, but this one I was afraid that they were gonna get too like maybe go too kind of graphic, because they always say like men just have dirty thoughts on their mind, which a lot of them, I mean, some of those thoughts were pretty out there and pretty dirty, but I think it worked. It didn't like go too far over the edge or wasn't funny enough. I feel like it was just like a good, like it was the perfect balance of what a lot of guys think, especially in that industry, in that field where they're like, a lot of them are, I don't know, a lot of them come off as like douchey guys anyway. But I wanted to ask you, Oscar, let's say a little fun question here.
Ooh.
If you got the ability to read women's thoughts. Okay. So you're at work and you're like, all these women are around you and they're, you're just reading all these thoughts. Would you try to do what Taraji P Henson did? And would you try to use that to your advantage in the workplace or in other aspects of your life? Or would you just try to ignore it and not let it, not try to use it to your advantage? Because I'm going to tell you right now.
That's a tough one. Based off of what I assume of myself, which I could be off or perfectly spot on. You would think it would be the opposite, but you never know. Some people think of some. Anyways, I would say I would not use it for that advantage, because then I would have that guilty conscience. You
gotta lie.
No, I'm serious. I would have a guilty conscience of me like just being like, but that's not what they told me. They thought that, and therefore I'm robbing them of their own. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would argue back and forth. I probably would have that superhero mentality that I need to use these for, good, and only use them when I'm stopping from a bomb being exploded or so someone.
So you'd become a superhero. You'd go save the city of Anaheim and
right. I'll patrol.
Even if it was like you found out, let's say like this was like you're trying to like transfer to another department, like your dream job, it pays more, it's better hours, like it's just everything's better, and you just have like someone.
Awesome.
Huh?
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome, sure. And it's like, and you got some inside scoop, like, oh, well, I'm not going to tell Oscar about that the interviews are next Tuesday, and it's like open to anyone who's been in this department for more than a year, because I know he'll get it if he goes, and I want the job. You wouldn't show up? You wouldn't pop up at that interview?
That's a tough one. I feel like that's my villain. That's my arch nemesis for this situation. No, because I a lot of it is still like I still want to have it where it's my work and my skills that are shown and seen, rather than I enforced it. I enforced me to have what I want in life. I don't know. I just feel like my conscience would probably be okay with it, using it to like a small scale of, oh, they love chocolate, oh, let me get them a chocolate cake. Or, like they're like, oh, I really hope I get a chocolate cake on my birthday. Then I would get them, that chocolate cake. But I don't know if I would want to use it to the point where I could be like, I'm going to, use this and become, billionaire and all that. I still feel like I would want that to be a natural recognition rather than I knew the cheat codes to get rich.
All right. I mean, you're a better person than I am, I guess, because I mean, I would, I'm not even going to say. Yes, I would try to use it to my advantage. I wouldn't try to cheat anybody else out, but if they were trying to screw me over, then I would
fair game.
then it's like an eye for an eye. Like, don't lie, Ruben. You would do it too. Ruben would do it. So Oscar's just a better person than we are.
So anyone that's currently in my company that's just kidding.
Acknowledge that you have a very great, dependable, loyal, trustworthy coworker by your side. But no, yeah. So that was funny. Making me look bad over here, Oscar. So
You
back
set it up.
no, it's all good. So yeah, so then okay, so Taraji P Henson, Ollie. Let me stop saying her name. Her name is Ollie. Allison, but they call her Ollie in the film. So she's reading these guys' thoughts. She's, outmaneuvering them, and she seems to be getting close with Jamal and the dad, and things seem to be going good. And she has this guy, Will, that she's dating, who she's trying to, she's kind of using him and his son to, paint the picture that she does have a family, but she also at the same time is falling for him. So we have all these kind of moving parts happening, and then it all comes to a climax when basically Jamal and the dad decide to go sign with an agent who no longer works for the company. So then Ollie gets blamed for that by her boss, and then Will finds out that basically he was just being used. So then she loses, temporarily loses the relationship with Will. So then everything just kind of begins to crumble down, like we, kind of expectedly. But things kind of, by the end of the film, obviously everything wraps up the way it should, the way we want it to. She basically does end up making partner, and which I knew this was going to happen as soon as they said you're now partner. I knew she wasn't going to accept it. So she then drops the bomb that she's going to open up her own sports agency, and she's going to take her assistant and make him an agent, and things get rekindled with Will. So that's good. Everything just it's like happily ever after. So obviously that's what I don't know. I feel like that's what I wanted. How do you guys feel? Do you feel that was just too predictable of an ending? Things ended on too many good notes? Or was it did you leave satisfied with that?
I wasn't satisfied, yes, in a way in terms of the predictability of that's what we predicted was going to happen. But honestly, I would have loved for this movie to challenge that, and maybe she kept her powers the entire time, or something different, something that was unexpected. I think I would appreciate it a little bit more. Because it just would have made this movie a little bit of a standout to say, oh no, actually she keeps her powers, or she's able to do this instead, or she realizes that she can become a better person overall and help people. I don't know. I know that that's not where the movie was going, but because it was still the predictability plot, that's why I would say I'm satisfied, but it's not like I'm content. And, I got everything I wanted from this movie satisfied. It was just more of that. Yep, that's what I knew. That's what I figured. We hit the plot one-on-one ending. So it was kind of just nothing new. So therefore disappointed in that angle that they didn't try to shake it up. But, but in terms of her doing her own firm and all that was, I am okay with that ending. If that, I don't know if that answers the question, but
yeah.
Okay,
I get it now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everything. I feel like you could have predicted all of the loose ends they tied up. You could have predicted that she was gonna either decline the partner deal for that company, or she was gonna walk away or do something else, or start her own company, and everything. It was like a happily ever after, which it was good. It wasn't good for predictability's sake. I mean, because that was too predictable. But I feel like at the end of it all, I that's what I want. All the things that happened, I was like, yay, she's starting her own firm. Yes, her assistant is gonna be an agent. Yes, her and Will are gonna get back together. Yes, that's what I wanted deep down inside. So I think for if we're talking in terms of cinema and film, it wasn't the most unique or clever way to end a film. But if we're just talking about I guess audience satisfaction and just what we want to see for these characters.
Right, I wanted her to see.
If we're not looking too deep into it, we wanted all those things to happen. So, Ruben, quick thoughts. What'd you think of the ending? Too predictable? I'll make it easy. Too predictable, too predictable, or
predictable.
okay.
And it was Not a standout.
Not a standout.
Not a standout at all. Damn. Okay. Tell it like it is. Well, Oscar, did you have any like favorite scenes or any standout scenes from the film? Because Ruben clearly did not.
That's a good one. I mean, the jokes as it went, there were hit or misses, but I don't know if there were a particular scene. Yeah, there was just like jokes that I thought were well executed, but I don't know if there was a particular scene that I replay or I would want to go see again. Mm-hmm. Like to me, when they were at the basketball court, not the basketball court, but they're in the basketball game and they were, in the box stands. Mm-hmm. I liked that scene. I liked, her trying to balance like, oh, you don't know, but go get me something to drink. And they were like, oh, I know, right? Sure. What do you want for your birthday? And like those, like, I liked her being able to try to juggle that.
Just try to play along and try to.
So that I would say like that would probably come closest to it. But I mean, there was just a lot of like jokes that were funny. I liked the assistant. I thought the assistant was, a funny character too. So there was just a lot of little things that the movie went on, but I don't know if there was a core scene.
Okay. I gotcha. I to be honest, really liked the assistant too. I felt like he was really, obviously aside from Ollie's character, he was my second favorite. Very fun. Like, I don't know, I mean, he wasn't doing anything super comical, but I felt like he just added a nice balance to what she was doing and her character. And he was kind of like that voice of reason. So that was nice to see. But I probably would have to say that scene when they were in that skybox watching the game, that was a good one. Obviously, I said the one when the psychic was reading her tarot cards, that was a really funny scene. I got a enjoyment out of watching that. And even one of the more endearing scenes when she went to meet Jamal on that basketball court in the projects kind of, and just was just shooting hoops and I don't think she was really trying to win him back, but I mean, I'm sure she knew he just needed someone to just kind of talk to and vent to and be honest with. I'm sure in the back of her mind, she thought maybe this will get me.
Right.
This will get me.
Priority was, let me just be honest.
Yeah.
She's kind of,
as of that point.
She was on the apology tour.
Right. Yeah. Going forward, she was like, let me just kind of make amends. So, but it did seem like it seemed genuine and endearing. And it was like, it was nice because we hadn't heard from Jamal really throughout the film, like just little pieces here and there, but it was mostly his dad talking for him. So it was nice to get to hear, him just say, his dream to play NBA in his hometown where he grew up. That was nice. So those are probably some of my favorite scenes, but the whole movie overall I really liked. So it's time for our final real scores. Oscar, what are you giving What Men Want?
I'm giving it a 2.5. To put it as clearly as Ruben did, it just wasn't a standout. It didn't draw me to want to see this again immediately. I completely am supportive of what the message it had into some degrees in different areas, but yeah, overall, like as the movie went, I just felt like this was something that needed to be looked at a little bit more, maybe looked a little bit different. I know it's like a remake of the plot and like the idea, but I feel like they could have taken advantage of being different, be unique, find something that you can mention more. We talked about missed opportunity, about the friends being the angle. I know that's a commonplace for a lot of comedies, but when it works, right? But so yeah, I just feel like this movie was entertaining to see through, but I would just say that probably would be the end of it. And I would probably want to go see another Taraji P Henson movie first over this one. So it's like, this is not the first thing.
Even Acrimony?
Yeah, that's the first one that I consider. And it was funny because the trailer that we got was for another movie she's coming out with, which is complete opposite, like performance and characters. So
that one looks good. See, those are the movies that she needs to be making.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so 2.5 is going to be my score for this one.
Okay, man. Ow. All right. No, I get it. I'm gonna give it. It sucks. This is one of those where it's like, because of her in general, I want to give it a super high score, but I'm looking at the overall film, so I do give it a 3. I thought it was entertaining and enjoyable, And I think you're not going to be bored if you go watch the movie. Ultimately, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be predictable, obviously. And if you've seen What Women Want, it's going to follow that same story and that same format. So there's no way around that. It is a little different from the original, but from what I've heard, but ultimately runs along the same lines. But I mean, I thought, if I was just going off of her, I'd give it a way higher score, but just gotta give it a 3. It was just kind of textbook, and I feel like if this was a film, okay, you have these actors and actresses. Let me just go off on a little rant right now. You have these actors and actresses that do award-winning things, critically praised projects and award-winning films, and then every so often they need to dip their toe into the commercial pool. Because they're trying to be, appeal to a broad audience here. So it's they can't only do these indie films or these Oscar-nominated fall dramas. They got to do some commercial things, some superhero films, some rom-com, some things might be a little more commercially successful. But I feel like it's frustrating because Taraji P Henson is such a great, versatile actress, and I mean, she's, I first saw her in Baby Boy, which was that came out years and years ago, and even
mine was Hustle and Flow.
Yeah, she's done some good ones. And obviously, if you've seen Empire, she's great in Empire too. But she's such a good actress and such a performer, and even a really good singer. If you've seen I Can Do Bad All by Myself, she sings in that. She sang in that, and it's wow, she has a great voice. So it's really frustrating to see her do some of these projects that have really just not showcased what she's capable of. So I feel like this film would have been perfect had she done something really, really strong, like the last 2 projects, and then she's oh, let me do a rom-com now. Then I would have been yes, this is great, this is what we needed. But it's she's coming off of 2 prior films, Acrimony and Proud Mary, that didn't really do too well. And Acrimony, it's we ragged all over that. Not because of her, but because of the material. So it's I really, really hope that she just starts, being a little more conscious of what she's putting herself into. And this next movie that she's coming out with, The Best of Enemies, this is what we need for her to do. Not all the time, but I'm really excited for this next one. So I hope that by the time we review it, at some point, one of these Taraji P Henson movies has to get a really good score from us, because it's not so great. We didn't brag too much over Proud Mary, but Acrimony we sure did. Ruben, final real score since you saw this film. 2. Ruben's a 2. Oscar's a 2.5. I'm a 3. Wow. We haven't been this divided since Red Sparrow. That's actually not bad. Not bad. Well, listeners, thank you for listening to this episode. We definitely want to know what...
What is it? Is there a nickname?
Rupert.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you guys for joining us. Let us know your thoughts on what you thought of this film.
Oh, anticlimactic.
Hey, you just came up with the perfect one, so I just had to roll with it. Remember, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and remember, if you can, please rate us on iTunes. Just to let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you guys want from the Reel-ists podcast, and just how can we improve and be better. Because we are here for you guys. We're here to serve you guys. Everything we do is for you. Right?
That is right.
Okay. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.